Approaching Earth for repairs, we got enhancements coffee and a full war fleet instead. He had flown missions all across nearby star systems, but this stop was supposed to be simple. A small glitch in the ship's navigation system and a few weak spots in the hull were nothing the human engineers couldn't fix. He looked out of the wide viewport, watching the blue and green swirls of Earth below. The planet seemed calm from space, peaceful even, as if nothing could ever disturb it. His co-pilot, Tara Benson, tapped her fingers nervously on the dashboard. She had always been more cautious than Connor, always thinking of what could go wrong. "Do you think the engineers will really be ready for us?" she asked. Connor gave a small smile. "They're humans, they can handle anything. We're not asking for a lot. Just a repair stop, maybe some minor adjustments, then back to space." The shuttle moved smoothly through the orbital lane. Normally, repair missions of this kind were simple. They would enter orbit, a few small repair shuttles would attach, technicians would fix what needed fixing, and they would leave. No excitement, no drama, just routine. But as they approached Earth's atmosphere, something strange appeared on the sensors. Connor frowned at the readouts. "Tara, are you seeing this?" Tara leaned forward, her brown eyes scanning the instruments. "Yes, I don't understand it. There's something on the sensors, but it isn't one ship. It's many ships, way more than the docking schedule shows." Connor's hands moved instinctively across the controls, adjusting the shuttle's sensors. "They shouldn't be here. This isn't scheduled. Nobody told us a fleet would meet us." A voice crackled over their communication system. It was calm, but it carried authority. "Lieutenant Hale, Lieutenant Benson, welcome back to Earth orbit. We heard you might need repairs." Connor blinked. He looked at Tara. That sounded like a human, but how do they know we're coming?" Before Tara could answer, the viewport filled with shapes of ships unlike anything the shuttle crew had seen. Sleek, enormous, and powerful, they floated around their shuttle with precision. The ships were far larger than any Earth-class vessels they had studied in manuals. Lights glowed along their hulls and energy fields shimmered across their surfaces. Connor swallowed. They're a fleet, a full fleet." Tara's hand hovered over the console, her usual caution mixed with awe. "I've read about human fleets. I never thought we'd see this in person, and they're surrounding us completely." Connor took a deep breath. "Okay, stay calm. Maybe they just want to escort us to the repair station. Maybe they're being friendly." Friendly? Connor doubted it. No species had ever greeted alien repair crews like this before. Normally, other civilizations gave strict schedules, long warnings, and at least a dozen rules to follow. Humans did something different. They acted as if alien visitors were welcome, and the scale of it, so many ships, made it impossible to ignore. A small shuttle detached from one of the larger ships. It moved with smooth efficiency toward Connor and Tara's craft. The smaller shuttle's docking bay opened like a flower, and a young human man stepped out. His hair was dark and his uniform was simple but neat. He held 2 steaming cups in his hands. Connor frowned, confused. "Coffee, really?" The man smiled as he floated closer in the zero-gravity corridor. "Welcome back," he said warmly. "I'm Logan Price. Thought you might like some coffee while we check your systems. And don't worry, we've got more than coffee. You might like what else we have prepared." Tara raised an eyebrow. "More than coffee? What do you mean?" Logan's smile widened. "Well, you'll see soon enough." Connor shook his head, trying to process the situation. They were here for repairs, a simple maintenance stop, yet the humans treated them as honored guests. And the presence of the fleet made it clear that this wasn't just courtesy. There was an intention behind it, a serious one. The shuttle attached itself to the docking bay of one of the largest human ships. Inside, Connor and Tara were greeted by a scene of controlled chaos. Human engineers moved quickly, almost as if guided by instinct. They adjusted parts of alien ships with tools they had never seen before. Sparks flew, metal bent, and machines whirred. Yet nothing went wrong. Connor watched an alien drone struggle to reconnect a power line. The drone had followed all its procedures, but the wire wouldn't fit. A human engineer simply stepped forward, examined it, and in a few precise movements, connected the wire perfectly. The drone froze for a moment, as if unsure how this had happened. Connor couldn't help but chuckle. "Humans make it look easy," Tara whispered beside him. "It's not just skill, it's creativity. They don't follow rules blindly, they think." Connor nodded. He had seen clever engineers before, but this was different. Humans weren't just following procedures, they were inventing solutions on the spot. It was almost magical in a practical way. While the repairs were underway, Logan led them to a small observation deck overlooking the docking bay. Ships of all sizes moved through the hangar, each one cared for with attention and respect. "You might not believe this," Logan said, "but humans take pride in helping others. Repairing ships, strengthening defenses, it's not just a job, it's a responsibility." Connor studied the massive fleet outside the observation windows. "A full fleet to watch over a repair mission? That's unprecedented." Logan shrugged lightly. "We like to be prepared, and sometimes we like to show our friends we care. Safety comes first, after all." Tyra shook her head in disbelief. "Care and power, they're showing both. No species has ever done this for aliens before." Connor sipped his coffee, warming his hands. The liquid was strong, bitter, but comforting. He looked at Tara. "You know, we came here expecting a minor repair stop. We weren't expecting hospitality or a human war fleet." Tyra laughed softly. "Or coffee that actually wakes you up in space. Humans are strange and impressive." As the repairs continued, Connor and Tara began to notice small changes. Systems they thought were damaged suddenly functioned better than before. The hull seemed reinforced, shields more responsive, and the engines hummed with newfound energy. Logan explained that humans had added enhancements to the ship, not as a gift, but as an extension of their engineering philosophy. "We don't just fix problems," he said. "We improve what we touch." Connor couldn't help but admire it. Alien engineers had their rules, their precise methods. Humans were different. They looked at possibilities instead of limitations. And in doing so, they made even alien technology stronger, faster, better. As the day moved on, the alien crew realized something remarkable. The humans weren't just repairing their ship, they were studying it, learning from it. And in a quiet, unassuming way, the humans were also teaching them how to be better engineers, better pilots, better thinkers. Tara watched a human engineer adjust the ship's navigation array. The alien protocols required dozens of calculations, step-by-step procedures. The human bypassed most of them, yet the results were perfect. Tara shook her head. "It's like they see the ship and see how it wants to work, not how it's supposed to," Connor smiled. "Maybe that's the human advantage. They don't just follow instructions, they understand purpose." Even as they worked, the fleet outside remained on alert. But the humans inside the hangar acted as if nothing was unusual. They didn't need to command fear. They commanded respect, curiosity, and cooperation. Connor realized that the presence of the fleet wasn't intimidation. It was protection. They were showing that if aliens were to fly in and out of their space, they would do so under careful observation. But not with hostility, with trust. By the time the first repairs were completed, Connor and Tara had a new perspective. They had come to Earth expecting routine maintenance. Instead, they had received hospitality, upgrades, and a glimpse of a human philosophy they had never encountered. Strength tempered with care, power tempered with responsibility, and technology tempered with imagination. Logan handed them another cup of coffee. "Almost done here, but remember, the fleet isn't going anywhere. We like to make sure our friends leave safely." Connor looked at Tara, shaking his head. "We came for repairs. We got coffee, enhancements, and a human war fleet watching over us. I don't think any species has ever done this." Tara grinned, sipping her coffee. "And somehow I think we're going to like it here." Connor stared out of the viewport at the endless expanse of ships, humans moving like shadows and light, calm but ready for anything. He felt a sense of awe unlike anything he had felt before. Humans were simple in many ways, yet extraordinary in ways that no alien manual could describe. They didn't just repair ships, they inspired hope, strength, and unity. As night fell over Earth, though the planet below glowed softly in oceans and cities, Connor realized one thing clearly. Whatever lay ahead in the universe, humans were not a species to underestimate. And for the first time, he felt grateful that his routine repair mission had become so much more than that. The alien shuttle rested in the docking bay, surrounded by the hum of engines and quiet chatter of human engineers. Outside, the fleet glimmered in the darkness of space, a silent promise of protection and strength. Connor and Tara knew their journey had changed, and that nothing in the galaxy would ever feel quite the same again. And as they prepared for the next day of work, both of them understood that Earth, and its people, had given them something far greater than repairs. They had given them insight, inspiration, and a reminder that even the smallest cup of coffee could start something extraordinary. The next morning, The sun rose over the distant cities of Earth, spilling soft golden light into the massive docking bay where Connor and Tara's shuttle rested. The fleet outside continued to hover in perfect formation, like silent guardians watching over them. For the alien crew, it was strange to see so much attention and care from a species they had long underestimated. Humans had always seemed simple in distant reports, limited in strength, fragile in comparison to their interstellar neighbors. Yet here, in the presence of the full fleet and their careful repairs, Connor and Tara began to understand that simplicity was only one layer. Beneath it lay ingenuity, adaptability, and a determination that no alien culture had ever shown. Logan Price greeted them first, holding 2 fresh cups of coffee. He smiled, the kind of warm smile that made trust feel natural. "Good morning," he said. "You'll want this." "Today we'll start enhancements." Connor frowned slightly. "Enhancements? I thought repairs were enough," Logan chuckled. "Repairs make your ship work. Enhancements make your ship exceptional. Humans like to go beyond what's required." Tara glanced at Connor. "Exceptional, huh? Sounds like trouble or excitement." "Maybe both," Connor admitted, sipping the hot coffee. The liquid was bitter and strong, but it carried a strange comfort that reminded him of Earth itself. They followed Logan through the docking bay. Human engineers worked in a fluid rhythm that seemed almost alive. Machines were moved with precision, tools adjusted mid-flight, and every piece of equipment seemed designed for flexibility. The humans worked in teams, but each individual moved with confidence, improvising without hesitation. Connor and Tara had never seen such coordination, yet there was no chaos. "This is impressive," Tara said softly. "Everything looks organized, but they don't follow strict protocols, they think." Logan nodded. "Rules are useful, but creativity is stronger. Humans know when to follow rules and when to bend them. That is how we solve problems quickly." Connor's attention turned to the modifications they were preparing for his shuttle. Engineers had begun installing new shields along the hull. Unlike the alien shields, which relied on energy matrices and rigid structures, these human shields adapted to threats automatically. A small holographic display projected around the ship, showing potential attack vectors and predicting responses. "You call this a shield?" Connor asked, leaning forward. Logan grinned. "It's more than a shield, it's a guardian. It learns your ship, reacts to danger, and protects without needing constant input. Humans call it adaptive defense." Tara's eyes widened. "It thinks," Logan shrugged. "In a way, it doesn't have feelings, but it analyzes and responds in real time, faster than most pilots could." While the shields were being installed, other engineers worked on the engines. Alien engines were complicated but predictable. The humans looked at Connor's shuttle engines, studied the flow patterns, and then made small adjustments. Within hours, the engines hummed with smoother efficiency, generating more thrust with less energy. Connor could hardly believe it. "It's better than before. How did you do this?" Logan laughed. "We like to find the limits, then we push past them. You'll notice it when you fly." Even as the upgrades continued, the fleet outside moved in formation, adjusting subtly to any motion of their ship. It was as if the humans expected their visitors to leave at any moment and wanted to ensure their safety. The alien crew had never seen such a combination of offense and protection. Every vessel seemed capable of destruction, yet they acted with restraint. Tara watched the movements, her hands on the console. "It's like they are saying, 'We trust you, but we're ready.'" Connor nodded slowly. "Humans don't just prepare for war, they prepare for anything, and they make you feel safe at the same time." As the day progressed, they were introduced to other enhancements. Human engineers added a navigation upgrade that predicted gravitational shifts and asteroid fields with incredible accuracy. Sensors were boosted, allowing the shuttle to detect distant ships, even in stealth mode. Weapon systems, though not fully activated, were integrated in a way that maximized efficiency without overloading the ship's energy reserves. Connor felt a mix of admiration and unease. These upgrades, they could turn a small shuttle into a serious threat. Logan smiled faintly. "It could, but that's not the point. The point is that humans prepare you to survive, to face the unexpected. That is what makes humans different." Tara watched as an engineer handed her a tool she had never seen before. It was small, simple, yet adaptable. "What does this do?" she asked. "It adapts to whatever you need it to do," the engineer explained. It's like having several tools in one. Humans don't like wasting time with limitations. Tara turned it over in her hands, impressed. It's clever. The aliens noticed something even stranger. Humans didn't seem to treat alien technology as inferior. They studied it carefully, respected its design, and found ways to improve it without disrespecting the original structure. Connor realized that humans had an attitude rare among species they had encountered: respect for others' creations, combined with confidence in their own abilities. By midday, the shuttle was fully upgraded. Connor and Tara ran a series of tests under Logan's supervision. Shields responded automatically to simulated attacks, engines adjusted smoothly to sudden thrust changes, and navigation systems predicted obstacles with remarkable accuracy. Even the smallest sensor tweaks gave them information they had never had before. Tara laughed as they completed the final test. I can't believe this. A simple repair stop turned into, I don't even know what, super upgrades? Connor nodded, sipping coffee. I think it's more than that, it's a lesson. Humans don't just fix problems, they improve, they adapt, they think ahead, and they do it without arrogance. Logan smiled. That's right. Humans don't just fight wars. We make allies stronger, we make technology stronger, and we make ourselves better. That is why Earth is ready for anything. Outside, the fleet shifted slightly, a subtle reminder of the humans' presence and power. Connor and Tara realized the fleet wasn't just decoration or intimidation. It was a lesson, a demonstration of human philosophy in action: preparedness, creativity, and strength tempered by responsibility. As they prepared for departure later that day, a new human commander arrived in the docking bay. Her name was Captain Jenna Moore, and she had an aura of quiet authority. She walked calmly among the engineers, observing their work and offering guidance when needed. When she finally spoke to Connor and Tara, her voice was firm but not threatening. You've had your repairs and enhancements, she said. Now, remember that the fleet is here not to control you, but to ensure that when you leave, you do so safely. Humans do not underestimate potential threats, and we do not underestimate potential allies. Consider this an introduction to both. Connor nodded, feeling the weight of her words. We appreciate it more than I can say. Captain Moore smiled faintly. Good, and remember, if you ever return, Earth will be ready to assist you again. Not just repairs, not just coffee, but anything you need. That is what humans do for their friends. Connor and Tara exchanged a glance. They had come to Earth expecting a simple maintenance stop. Instead, they had discovered a culture of ingenuity, trust, and generosity. They had seen humans treat alien technology with respect while enhancing it beyond belief. They had witnessed a full war fleet that combined raw power with careful protection. And they had begun to understand that humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, thinkers, and allies unlike any other species in the galaxy. As they prepared for the final checks before leaving the docking bay, Connor felt a strange mix of pride and humility. Humans were capable of things no alien reports had ever captured. And now, having experienced it firsthand, he realized that the galaxy would never view humans the same way again. Tara leaned over the console, her eyes on the shuttle's systems. I think we're ready. I've never seen anything like this. Connor smiled. Neither have I, but I think I understand it now. Humans don't just repair, they create, they protect, and they inspire. That's why the fleet is here and why the upgrades work so well. They see potential and they make it real. Logan returned, carrying 2 more cups of coffee. Almost done. One last thing before you leave. The fleet outside is not just here for show. It's here to demonstrate that humans value alliances. When you leave, you'll take not only your repairs and enhancements, but also our support and respect. That is our way. Connor and Tara took the coffee, their hands warm. Connor raised his cup slightly. Thank you for everything, Logan nodded. Enjoy your flight. And remember, Earth is always open. You never know when you might need us, or when we might need you. As the alien crew prepared to leave the docking bay, they realized that their simple repair stop had become something extraordinary. Coffee, upgrades, lessons in engineering, lessons in philosophy, and a glimpse at human courage and ingenuity. They had not expected this, and they would never forget it. For Connor and Tara, the universe felt different now. Humans were no longer a minor species to study or underestimate. They were a force, a partner, and an example of what intelligence combined with creativity and courage could accomplish. And as their shuttle prepared to lift off, the fleet outside seemed to acknowledge it silently. The galaxy had changed, starting with Earth. The alien shuttle lifted smoothly from the docking bay, engines purring with newfound strength. Outside, the fleet maintained perfect formation, a reminder of humans' readiness and watchfulness. Connor glanced at Tara. "We came for repairs. We got lessons, upgrades, and a war fleet showing us what humans are really capable of." Tara smiled, sipping her coffee. "I think we're ready for anything now." Connor nodded, feeling both awe and confidence. Humans had shown them a side of power they had never seen before, controlled, intelligent, and full of respect. And that was just the beginning. The alien shuttle lifted off smoothly from the docking bay, engines humming with the upgrades the humans had installed. Connor Hale felt the power of the ship beneath him in a way he had never felt before. Every system responded faster, every control moved more easily, and the adaptive shields created a soft glow around the hull. Tara Benson sat beside him, her eyes wide as she watched the human fleet move with the shuttle. "They're following us?" she asked, her voice a mix of awe and concern. Connor nodded slowly. "Not just following, they're observing, but they're also protecting. Look at their formation, they're adjusting to every movement we make, keeping us at the center." Outside the viewport, the fleet spread across the orbit like a giant net of light and energy. Each ship moved as if connected by a single mind, yet there was no visible control system linking them. It was coordination without a master, something Connor had never seen before in any species, human or alien. A communication signal came through. Captain Jenna Moore's calm voice filled the cockpit. "Lieutenant Hale, Lieutenant Benson, you are not alone. The fleet is here to assist if needed. Treat this as a learning experience. Observe, adapt, and prepare. Humans do not underestimate potential threats, nor do we underestimate allies." Connor glanced at Tara. "I think we're about to find out how humans fight, or at least how they think about defense." They were instructed to perform a series of test maneuvers in the orbital corridor. The shuttle weaved between asteroids and artificial satellites, while the fleet moved in patterns that protected them from all angles. At first, Connor tried to match the speed and control of his ship to the fleet's formation, but he quickly realized that the humans were not simply following him, they were predicting him. Tara's hands flew over the console, adjusting shields and engines in response to subtle changes in the fleet's position. "They know what we're going to do before we do it," she whispered. "It's like they can think ahead of us." Connor nodded, a thrill running through him. Not think ahead, anticipate. Humans don't just react, they predict and prepare. The fleet wasn't just a display of power, it was a lesson. Each ship acted in perfect unison with the others, creating a network of protection that allowed the alien shuttle to move freely while remaining completely safe. Logan Price's earlier words echoed in Connor's mind. Humans don't just fight, they protect, adapt, and inspire. Then the humans introduced a simulated threat. Drones, designed to mimic hostile alien craft, approached at high speed. Connor and Tara expected a defensive response from the fleet, but what happened surprised them. Instead of attacking immediately, the human ships positioned themselves to shield the shuttle. The drones' weapons were harmless, but the humans treated the scenario as real. Connor's jaw dropped as he watched the fleet's movements. They're blocking every possible angle. And they're not just reacting, they're coordinating. Tara leaned closer to the console, analyzing the simulation. "It's like a living organism. Every ship knows what the others are doing without being told." Logan's voice came over the comm. "That's human strategy. We don't just fight with weapons. We fight with planning, coordination, and trust. Every pilot trusts the others to act correctly, and every pilot knows their role. That is why humans work so well in groups." The alien shuttle moved through the simulation, weaving between obstacles as the fleet provided cover. Connor felt a surge of confidence he had never experienced before. The shuttle responded perfectly to the new engines and adaptive systems, moving faster and smoother than he had ever imagined. Tara smiled, her fingers flying over the controls. "I can feel the upgrades working. We're not just faster, we're smarter now. Everything responds to us and the fleet together." As the simulation ended, the fleet arranged itself into a perfect formation around the shuttle, almost as if applauding their success. Connor realized something important. Humans were not just powerful, they made everyone around them stronger. The alien crew had expected repairs, maybe enhancements, but never a full-scale lesson in how humans combine technology, strategy, and teamwork. Captain Moore's voice came over the comm again. Observe closely. A fleet's strength is not in its weapons alone, but in its ability to protect, adapt, and coordinate. You now understand the principle. Humans value alliances as much as power. Connor and Tara exchanged a look. They had expected to leave Earth with a fixed shuttle and some minor upgrades. Instead, they were witnessing something far more extraordinary. A species that could challenge the galaxy not through intimidation alone, but through intelligence, cooperation, and foresight. Later, the human engineers invited them to participate in hands-on exercises. They worked together to adjust the fleet's adaptive shield network. The aliens had learned their own systems in the past, but nothing like this. Human engineers explained that the shields could communicate with one another, creating a web of protection that adjusted to any incoming threat. Connor marveled at the simplicity and brilliance of the system. This is amazing. Our shields work, but they're isolated. Yours act as one, Logan nodded. Exactly. Humans believe strength is multiplied by coordination. Alone, we are limited. Together, we can defend entire star systems. Tyra adjusted a console, watching the shield patterns on a holographic display. It's beautiful. And functional. They're not just showing off, they're teaching us a new way to think about defense. Throughout the day, the aliens learned more than they expected. Humans explained their approach to navigation, using predictive modeling to avoid collisions and anticipate threats before they happened. They demonstrated weapons integration that minimized energy use while maximizing efficiency. And they explained communication techniques that allowed ships to operate as one unit without centralized control. Connor began to understand something fundamental about humans. They were adaptable, yes, but they were also practical thinkers who valued preparation, teamwork, and trust. Alien civilizations often relied on fear or strict hierarchy to maintain control. Humans relied on cooperation and innovation, and it worked. The sun began to set over Earth, casting long shadows across the docking bay. The alien shuttle rested in the hangar for a short break before the final exercises. Connor looked out the viewport at the fleet hovering above. He had begun to feel a sense of pride mixed with humility. Humans had taught them something far more valuable than upgrades or shields. They had shown them a philosophy, strength combined with intelligence, coordination, and respect. Tyra sipped her coffee, watching the movement of the human engineers. I never thought humans could impress me like this. They're extraordinary, Connor nodded. Not just impressive, they inspire confidence, and they make you feel like you can do more than you thought possible. Logan returned, smiling. You're learning fast. Today's exercises were just the beginning. Tomorrow, we'll show you how humans respond in real-time scenarios. You'll see how we combine strategy, technology, and instinct to protect allies and achieve goals. Connor felt a thrill at the thought. He had always respected skilled pilots, clever engineers, and strong fleets. But he had never seen all three combined in a species that was also so willing to help others. As night fell over the Earth, the alien crew walked through the hangar, taking in the scale of the human operation. Every ship, every engineer, every system reflected the same philosophy: strength with purpose, readiness without arrogance, and intelligence applied to every problem. Connor realized that the galaxy would not be ready for humans if they had to fight seriously. But he also realized something else. Humans would always be ready to protect those they considered friends. And that, more than anything, made them unpredictable and formidable. The aliens returned to their shuttle for rest, their minds buzzing with everything they had learned. Connor sat in the pilot's seat, staring at the instruments, realizing that even the smallest adjustments humans had made were lessons in engineering, strategy, and philosophy. Tara leaned back, sipping her last cup of coffee. Do you think any other species could do what humans do? Connor shook his head slowly. No, not like this. Humans don't just fight, they teach, protect, and inspire. And that is why the fleet isn't just showing off, it's showing us how humans think. As they prepared to sleep, the fleet continued its silent vigil outside the hangar. Connor and Tara knew they had experienced something extraordinary. They had come to Earth expecting simple repairs. Instead, they had witnessed a species that combined strength, intelligence, and cooperation in ways that could change the galaxy. The alien crew had no idea what the next day would bring. But they knew one thing clearly: Humans were a force unlike any other, and they had just begun to understand their power. Connor closed his eyes, feeling a strange mix of awe and gratitude. Tomorrow would bring more lessons, more surprises, and more proof that humans were not to be underestimated. And as the stars glimmered outside the viewport, he felt certain of one thing: the galaxy would never view humans the same way again. The next day, the alien shuttle was prepared for a more advanced set of exercises. Connor Hale and Tara Benson had spent the night reviewing the systems, drinking more of the strong Earth coffee and trying to understand the human approach to teamwork. When they returned to the hangar, the fleet outside gleamed in the sunlight, each ship ready and poised as if expecting them to take flight. Logan Price met them at the shuttle. "Good morning," he said, smiling. "Today we'll show you humans in action. You've seen our systems, our fleet, and our philosophy. Now you'll see how we respond when things are unpredictable." Connor nodded. "We're ready as we can be," Tara added. "Let's hope our shuttle can handle whatever you throw at us." Logan laughed. "It can. Humans prepare for the unexpected, but they don't underestimate what you're capable of either." The shuttle lifted off from the hangar, and the fleet moved to follow them in perfect formation. Today, the exercise would take them into a dense asteroid field far above Earth's orbit. Humans called it a training zone, but for the alien crew, it looked dangerous. Sharp, jagged rocks floated silently in the void, some as large as small moons. Navigating through it required precision and speed. Connor's hands tightened around the controls. "This looks tricky." Tara checked the adaptive systems. "Our shields are stronger, our engines respond faster, but we'll need to think like humans too, that's the key." Logan's voice came over the comm. "Remember, it's not about speed alone. Observe the fleet. See how humans coordinate. They anticipate movements, not just react to them. Follow their lead, and you'll see the real advantage." As they entered the asteroid field, the fleet split into smaller units, moving around the shuttle in a protective formation. Every ship seemed to cover a specific angle, adjusting constantly. Connor was impressed by how smoothly the fleet adapted. Even when a large asteroid shifted its path unexpectedly, the ships repositioned instantly, creating a moving shield around the alien shuttle. Tara grinned. "It's like dancing. Every move is coordinated yet flexible. Humans make it look easy." Connor laughed despite the tension. "Easy, not for me, but it works, and it's incredible to watch." The first simulated threat appeared, small, fast drones that mimicked alien raiders. They darted between the asteroids at high speed, attacking the fleet with harmless energy pulses. The human ships didn't panic. Instead, they moved like a single organism. Some ships drew the drones away, while others protected the shuttle, and a few coordinated to trap the drones using the environment. Connor's jaw dropped. "They're controlling the battlefield, not reacting to it. That's amazing." Tyra adjusted the shuttle's engines to match the fleet's rhythm. "They don't just fight, they guide us. That's what I like the most. They teach without words." Logan's voice came over the comm. "Humans value precision, timing, and cooperation. You'll notice that no ship acts without thinking about the others. That's the secret to our strength." The alien shuttle moved through the field, weaving between rocks and drones. Each time a drone approached, a human ship adjusted its position slightly, providing cover without overtly intervening. Connor realized that the humans trusted their allies, both alien and human, to act while guiding them subtly. Suddenly, a larger drone broke through the formation, moving directly toward the shuttle. Connor's heart raced. "Tara, I've got it." Tara hesitated. "Wait, let the fleet guide you. Remember what Logan said." Connor took a deep breath and followed the path subtly suggested by the surrounding human ships. The drone passed harmlessly, but the alien crew realized that humans didn't just react. They directed the flow of danger. When the last drone had passed, the fleet regrouped around the shuttle. Captain Jenna Moore's voice filled the comm. "Well done. You observed, adapted, and followed the human way. That is the essence of our approach: coordination, anticipation, and trust. You can now see why humans succeed even in unpredictable situations." Connor nodded, still catching his breath. "I've never seen anything like it. Humans don't just fight, they shape the fight, and they teach you to do the same." Tara smiled. "It's more than impressive. It's inspiring. I feel different after watching them work. Smarter, maybe." Logan guided the shuttle to a safer zone for a brief rest. Now we'll show you how humans use technology and strategy together. That's where real power begins. Connor leaned back, watching as engineers on the nearby ships worked. Small devices floated between their hands, adjusting shields, weapons, and navigation arrays in real time. The alien crew had seen human engineering before, but seeing it in coordination with active fleet maneuvers was extraordinary. They don't just react to danger, Connor said quietly. They prepare, predict, and guide, and they include allies in everything, Tara nodded. Every action they take is connected, nothing is wasted, and everything is shared. The next exercise involved stealth and surprise. Small human ships approached the shuttle from unexpected directions, testing the adaptive shields and new engines. Connor and Tara had to rely on instincts, not just controls, to survive the simulation. The fleet adjusted instantly, providing subtle guidance while letting the alien crew act independently. Connor felt his confidence grow. I can do this. I can follow their lead. The shuttle feels alive like it's part of the team. Tara grinned. Exactly, humans don't just enhance technology, they enhance the user too. By the end of the day, the aliens had experienced multiple simulations of threats, environmental challenges, and coordination exercises. Each time the human fleet had acted in the same way: protect, guide, enhance, and teach. Connor realized that the human strength was not just in their ships or weapons, it was in the philosophy they applied to everything: cooperation, innovation, and trust. Captain Moore's voice came over the comm once more. Remember this. Strength is not only measured in weapons or ships. It is measured in how you protect, guide, and inspire others. You now know a part of the human way. Carry it with you wherever you go. Connor felt a deep respect for humans. They had come expecting repairs, maybe upgrades. Instead, they had received lessons in philosophy, strategy, and leadership. The alien crew realized that humans had a power no species could easily match: the ability to turn allies into extensions of themselves without domination, to inspire strength and confidence in others while remaining humble and precise. As the shuttle returned to the docking bay, Connor and Tara reflected on the day. I've never learned so much in a single day, Connor said. The fleet, the coordination, the way they teach without speaking, it's extraordinary. Tara nodded. And it's terrifying in the best way. Humans are simple in appearance, but when they act together, they're unstoppable, and they lift others up with them. Logan met them again as they landed. You did well today. You saw humans in action, not just in theory. Tomorrow, you'll see the final part of your training: real-world problem-solving with human crews and technology. That's when the lessons become practical, and you'll understand why humans succeed in so many unexpected ways. Connor leaned back in his seat, sipping coffee. I don't know if I can ever forget this. We came here for repairs, and now we've seen humans in a way no one else has. They're not just strong, they make everyone around them stronger. Tara smiled faintly. And they do it naturally. Not to show off, but because that's who they are. As night fell over Earth, the alien crew rested in the shuttle. Outside, the fleet maintained its formation, a silent reminder of the humans' philosophy in action. Strength combined with coordination, foresight, and respect. Connor and Tara knew that the next day would bring the final exercises and perhaps the greatest challenge yet. But they also knew one thing clearly. Humans were a species unlike any other, capable of teaching lessons even through power, precision, and teamwork. Connor closed his eyes, thinking of the fleet, the engineers, and the philosophy they had witnessed. We came for repairs. We've gotten lessons in strength, strategy, and trust. Humans are extraordinary. Tara leaned back, her eyes on the stars outside. And tomorrow, we'll see what happens when all of it comes together. I can't wait. The alien shuttle remained in the hangar for the night, surrounded by the silent hum of the human fleet. Connor and Tara knew they had experienced something remarkable. They had not only received upgrades and repairs, but a glimpse into a philosophy that could change the way they thought about technology, teamwork, and even their place in the galaxy. The stars outside the viewport twinkled quietly. The humans had shown them that strength was more than weapons, that intelligence was more than calculations, and that trust could be a weapon just as powerful as any fleet. Connor and Tara drifted into sleep, their minds alive with new ideas, lessons, and respect for a species that had turned a simple repair stop into a life-changing experience. The morning sun spilled across the docking bay, casting golden light on the fleet that had guided and protected Connor Hale and Tara Benson for days. The alien shuttle was fully repaired and upgraded. Its engines hummed smoothly, its shields glowed softly, and its systems responded with a precision the crew had never known before. Connor looked out the viewport at the fleet, stretching in perfect formation across the orbit, and felt a mix of awe and gratitude. Logan Price met them at the shuttle, carrying 2 cups of steaming coffee. "Good morning," he said with a smile. "Today you'll depart, but before you go, there's one last exercise. It's simple in description but complex in execution. You'll leave the docking bay under full fleet observation, and the goal is to test coordination, speed, and readiness while maintaining safety. Think of it as your final lesson." Connor took a deep breath. "We're ready." Tyra adjusted her seat and looked over the controls. "We've learned a lot. Let's see how it all comes together." The shuttle lifted slowly from the docking bay, engines gliding through the airless space. Outside, the fleet adjusted to their movement instantly. Ships shifted into positions around the shuttle, forming a protective cage that moved with them. The alien crew marveled at how the fleet seemed to anticipate every motion before it happened. Logan's voice came over the comm. "Remember everything you've learned. Trust the fleet, trust your enhancements, and trust each other. Humans succeed when they combine technology, strategy, and coordination." Connor nodded, hands steady on the controls. "Let's do this." The fleet led them toward the outer edge of the training zone, where obstacles and simulated threats were set up. Jagged asteroids floated in the distance, and energy pulses mimicked attacks from hostile craft. The alien crew realized that the exercise would combine all the lessons they had learned: navigation, shields, engines, weapons, and coordination. The first obstacle appeared, a dense field of moving asteroids. Connor adjusted the shuttle's engines, weaving between the rocks. The adaptive shields responded automatically, expanding and contracting as needed to protect the ship. Tara monitored the sensors, guiding the shuttle with subtle movements. Outside, the human fleet adjusted their positions to protect them. Some ships intercepted imaginary threats, while others created safe paths through the asteroid field. The aliens had never seen such coordination. The humans did not simply react. They predicted the shuttle's path, adjusting their formations before the alien crew moved. Connor glanced at Tara. "They're not just helping us, they're teaching us. Every move is a lesson in strategy." Tara nodded, her eyes wide. "It's like a dance, but with real stakes. I feel smarter just watching them." Suddenly, a simulated attack came from the opposite direction. Energy drones darted at the shuttle, firing harmless beams that tested the adaptive shields. The fleet reacted instantly. Ships moved into blocking positions, creating overlapping shield fields that absorbed the energy. The aliens watched in amazement as the fleet acted as one organism, covering every angle without hesitation. Connor maneuvered the shuttle through the attack, adjusting engines and shields as the fleet guided them. "I never thought shields could respond like this." "It's incredible," Tara laughed, a mix of excitement and disbelief. "It's more than incredible, it's human." Logan's voice came over the comm. "You're seeing the strength of coordination. Humans do not rely on brute force alone. We combine technology, strategy, and teamwork to achieve results that are greater than the sum of their parts." The exercise continued for hours, with the shuttle navigating through asteroid fields, simulated attacks, and sudden environmental changes. Each time, the fleet responded with perfect timing. Connor and Tara noticed something remarkable. The humans did not take control away from them. Instead, they guided and enhanced, allowing the aliens to act while providing invisible support. By midday, the shuttle reached the final part of the exercise, a test of speed and coordination. A narrow corridor of energy barriers stretched ahead, requiring precise timing to pass through. The adaptive shields adjusted automatically, but the shuttle's engines and pilot skills were crucial. Connor felt a surge of adrenaline. "This is it. Time to show what we've learned." Tara nodded. "We can do this. Follow the fleet and trust the upgrades." The shuttle accelerated, weaving through the corridor as the fleet moved around them. Each ship adjusted its position, guiding the path without interfering. The alien crew felt the full power of the human enhancements and philosophy. They moved faster, reacted more quickly, and coordinated naturally with the fleet. As they cleared the corridor, a sense of triumph filled the shuttle. The exercise was complete, and the aliens had experienced humans at their best: skilled, creative, coordinated, and caring. Connor felt a deep respect and gratitude. Logan's voice came over the comm. Congratulations, you've completed your final exercise. You've seen humans in action, learned from our technology, and experienced the philosophy behind our approach. You are now ready to depart. Connor leaned back, exhaling slowly. I can't believe it. We came for repairs and upgrades, but we've learned more than I ever imagined. Tara smiled, sipping her coffee. Humans don't just fix problems, they teach, protect, and inspire. I feel different after this experience. Captain Jenna Moore appeared in the comm system, her calm voice carrying authority and warmth. Lieutenants, you've done well. Remember that strength is not only measured in weapons or technology, but in coordination, trust, and intelligence. You've seen how humans combine these traits to achieve results that are unmatched. Carry these lessons with you wherever you go. Connor nodded. We will, thank you for everything. Tara added. We'll never forget what we've learned here. Humans are extraordinary. As the shuttle moved toward the edge of orbit, the fleet adjusted to allow safe passage. Ships moved in perfect formation, creating a corridor through space. Connor felt the power of the enhancements, the guidance of the fleet, and the lessons of the humans working together. The alien crew realized that humans were not just a minor species in the galaxy. They were innovators, leaders, and allies beyond compare. Logan spoke one last time. Remember, Earth is always open. You've seen our technology, philosophy, and strategy. You've been part of our fleet today. Carry that experience with you. It is a gift and it is a responsibility. Connor looked at Tara. We came here expecting a simple repair stop. We leave with coffee, upgrades, lessons, and a fleet that has shown us how humans think, fight, and protect. I don't think any species could do this. Tara nodded, her eyes on the fleet outside. Humans don't just fight, they inspire, they teach. They lift others up with them. That's why they're extraordinary. As the shuttle left orbit, Connor and Tara took one last look at Earth. The planet glowed softly, surrounded by the fleet that had guided them. They had come for repairs, but they were leaving with a new understanding of a species that could change the galaxy, not just through power, but through intelligence, cooperation, and courage. Connor leaned back in his seat, feeling a sense of awe. We'll never forget this. Humans have shown us what true strength is, strength that inspires and protects, not just destroys. Tara smiled faintly. And we've been lucky to witness it firsthand. I think the galaxy will never underestimate humans again once they see what we've seen. The shuttle moved through space, engines humming with the upgrades humans had provided. Connor and Tara felt the full power of the enhancements, but more importantly, they felt the lessons the humans had taught them. They realized that humans were not only survivors, but leaders, innovators, and allies who could inspire trust and confidence in any species. As they traveled away from Earth, the stars stretched endlessly ahead. Connor knew that this journey had changed him, Tara, and their perspective on the galaxy. Humans were no longer just a subject of study. They were a force to respect, admire, and learn from. Tara leaned back, watching the stars. I think this is just the beginning. We've seen humans at their best, but the galaxy will see more of them soon. Connor nodded. And when it does, I hope they understand what we've learned. Humans don't just fight, they improve, inspire, and protect. That is their true power. The shuttle moved silently through the void, carrying its alien crew, upgraded systems, and new understanding of a species unlike any they had known. Connor and Tara knew that their experience on Earth would shape every mission they undertook from now on. They had seen humans at their finest, and they would never forget it. As the shuttle left the influence of Earth's orbit, the alien crew felt a mixture of pride, respect, and humility. They had come seeking repairs and enhancements, but they were leaving with far more: knowledge, inspiration, and a glimpse into a philosophy that combined power, intelligence, and compassion. Connor took a final sip of coffee and smiled. We came for repairs. We got lessons, upgrades, and a new way to see the galaxy. Humans are extraordinary. Tara nodded in agreement. And we've been lucky to witness it. The universe will never see them the same way again. Outside the shuttle, the stars stretched endlessly. Within it, the aliens carried the lessons of humans, ready to face the universe with new knowledge, strength, and respect for a species that had shown them that true power lies not just in weapons or technology, but in the combination of courage, intelligence, and the willingness to lift others along the way.